Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Visionary Aging. I'm Mary Winters. I'm a gerontologist and the owner of About Senior Solutions. We plan for our vacations, which we're not taking many of now, at least not abroad. And we plan for weddings, we plan for all kinds of things, but we don't plan for what we want our life to look like, especially in later years. So I'm here to empower you, invite guests that can give you good information and live a great, healthy, wonderful life. And we have Steve McCullough on. He has a caregiver question for us today. And we also have a beautiful lady who turns 100, who is a World War II veteran that we're going to celebrate too. So let me go ahead and see if we can pull up our birthday song. I wonder if I can find our birthday song. Let's see. Maybe we just are going to go ahead and celebrate her. Look at this. She was decorated like you cannot believe. Here we go. Here we go. So we have our Miss Very. Her first name is Yvette, and she's from Rhode Island. Yvette Very is a World War II veteran, and she enlisted with her brother and sister into the Navy in April of 44, and she was honorably discharged in 1946. She turned 100 on March 22nd, and after her active duty, she completed her GED and graduated from Bryant College. She worked for years for her late husband's construction firm and was part of the Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Service, the WAVES. Additionally, she participated in the Honor Flight Program, and she says one of her most memorable stories of her life included taking flight lessons in 1947 at the age of 26 and making an emergency landing in Chestnut Hill, Connecticut. She stopped just 50 feet from a local home, and I think that would probably be the most scary thing in the world. Look at how amazing she is, and she was so recognized by our military and local government. She had the governor there, she had Senator Jack Reed there, and the congressman was there. Everybody wanted to celebrate her, and I mean, I can't believe being 100 years old and how she's engaging with everyone at this wonderful party that she had. I hope she has a fantastic weekend, day, month, year, and celebrates being 100 for another 3 years. So let's go ahead and we'll have Steve on and have him ask his caregiver question. Go ahead here and see if we've got that in the round. Let's see. Well, I'm having a hard time here pushing buttons, I guess. Hey, Steve. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Morning. Oh, I'm having some trouble with buttons today. So, but I'm good.
You're usually really good at pushing buttons, I heard.
It's just with the wrong people. And the sun's coming in a different way in the window. So it actually feels darker because I had to shut the window because all these little slices of sunshine were coming in. So anyway,
beautiful morning.
Yeah, it really is. So tell me a little bit, what questions did you get today?
So the question I got, which is kind of appropriate for the times, now that things are opening up, businesses are opening up, theaters are opening up, the question is, what kind of extra precautions do people need to take as far as going out? Like added mask, sanitizers, things like that.
Well, I think like the beginning, we have to assess your own risk. And I know some people aren't leaving the house still, and they've been vaccinated. I think if you've been vaccinated and you're wearing a mask, it's my understanding that we're safe. So I know we still need to wear masks out. That's what we're hearing in the reports. And if the vaccination is as good as it's supposed to be, we should be okay. But I think you just have to assess your own risk. And but I'm looking forward to things opening. I had a support group a couple of weeks ago. We met in person. We met outside, and they had lunch, which means they did not have masks on when they were eating. They were all vaccinated. I've been vaccinated, and yeah, it's really nice. It felt so normal to be with people that you're not closely connected with in your pod, so to speak,
Right.
to start getting out. And I think our brains have been on overload too, just like a first responder or a police officer who always has to be on. And our
Mhm.
brains are on overload and the fear is on overload. And we're going to have to kind of take a step back from that too and understand what we need to do to kind of calm that fear and take those steps forward because eventually we're going to get back to normal. But everybody's going to have their own time frame, I think, when they feel comfortable. And Heidi Hoffman's on with us. She is a nutritionist, and
Mhm.
I feel strongly that when you eat healthy, when you treat your body in a way where you're healthy, we have less risk too when you build a
True.
good immune system, right?
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear what she has to say about how much water we should drink.
Okay, I'll ask the question. How's that?
Mhm.
All
I'm
right. So
drinking mine. I was told 30 ounces before my first cup of coffee.
well, I know there's different theories. I don't know if she calculates it in pounds of body weight or how she does it. So
Right.
I'll ask her that question. I think that's a great one. And it's important too to make sure that we're staying hydrated. So,
Absolutely.
all right. We'll talk to
Have
you
a great
later.
show.
Okay? All right. Thanks.
See you at the
And
end.
I want to talk about Heidi because she is actually my nutritionist too. And I felt like it was very important, especially through, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going through menopause. I think it was really important to find balance and to bump it up a little bit, make sure if there was something that was missing in my body that I was replenishing that and wanted to be as natural and healthy as possible as I'm aging. So I have really benefited from her services. And our discussion today will be about better bones and balancing osteoporosis. There's a lot of advice out there, and I think it's really important to get information from somebody who really knows what they're talking about. I think you can take lots of medications or vitamins, but are they really right for you? And after experiencing her own health issues with poor digestion and excessive weight, Heidi sought out alternative treatments to discover the causes. And she learned that she had some food sensitivities and required digestive supplements to balance her body chemistry. This is where she discovered the power of complementary and alternative medicine, CAM, and dived into becoming fully trained as a functional medicine clinical nutritionist. Heidi expanded her knowledge and education into the overlap of the body, mind, and spirit connection and became a certified Reiki master and neuro emotional technique practitioner, or NET. Her own healing process was the inspirational spark to develop an alternative practice, and she created this wonderful space with other healers there too. She is heavily educated and trained. She has a BS in nutrition and master's in public health from UCLA. She's certified as a Reiki master, as a NET practitioner. She's fully trained in functional medicine, clinical nutritionist, registered dietitian, and she has a fabulous background, 15 years of experience in a variety of settings with hospitals and long-term care. So she knows what our seniors are going through. So let's not delay any further. We had a little bit of an audio issue, but let's go ahead and we'll bring Heidi in and we'll talk a little more about specifics with our seniors and how we can address our own health. Oh, Steve's there. Hi, Heidi. How are you?
Hi, Mary. I'm doing great. It's nice to be here. It's so exciting.
It is, and it's just so nice to always have the positive energy and the information that you have to really stay healthy. And I know during the pandemic we were in touch, and I wanted to make sure that I was keeping my health good and strong, and making sure that I was safe around my clients and my family and the people that I was seeing, even though it was very limited. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that you were able to support me with my well-being and making sure that I stayed well. And so,
thank you. Yeah, it was really important during the pandemic because we were under so much stress, and that creates so many things internally for us. So we need to be able to handle that stress in order to live a nice, vivacious life.
Absolutely. So I know we wanted to talk a little bit about balance and osteoporosis, but Steve had a great question. And so maybe before we kick off the other topic, can you answer his question about how much water should we be drinking?
Oh, that's an easy one. So that's about half your body weight in ounces.
Okay.
So if you weigh 160 pounds, then it would be 80 ounces.
All right. Okay.
Okay. And then on a hot day, summery day, if you're sweating a lot, you want to add an extra 10 to 20 ounces.
Okay.
So that's just in general, but if you have kidney issues or some other type of issue, of course, then it's going to be different. But for the general population, that's what that's going to be.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's great information. And I think we have a tendency to always be underhydrated. So just trying to at least get close to that or as often as possible.
One of the funny things that people always tell me is, I drink so much water, and then when we count it up, it turns out that it just appears to be so much water, but it's not quite so much water.
Right.
So I always tell people, count it out, get one of these containers,
Oh,
get one of these,
oh, so you can calculate your,
fill it up,
yeah.
and then just drink them throughout the day. And that way for sure you've got that 80 ounces or whatever it is for your body.
Yeah, I know when I do not drink enough water, I get it's very uncomfortable at night. My legs start cramping up because I'm dehydrated, or my skin even changes. So very interesting how much that affects us. And I know you can get some hydration from some foods too. Are there foods in particular that are great to kind of perk up hydration also?
So those are your fruits and vegetables because they're going to have water internally. I don't know if you've ever had a day where you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't had enough fruits and vegetables and you feel a little dry.
Yeah.
Just having an orange or something simply that will have, some water in it will help with that.
Cucumbers are my go-to.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Celery, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Celery, huh?
I know, it likes to suck up the water. Our little science experiments when we were kids, right? You could see how much it went through the celery stick. So tell me more. Let's talk a little bit more about balance and osteoporosis and some of the pointers that you have for that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I like to talk about in osteoporosis is it's normal for the body to lose bone because they're the storage house, right, of our calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, a variety of different nutrients, phosphorus. So the body is going to be breaking down the bone for those things, but when it doesn't put it back, that's when we're at risk for osteoporosis. When it doesn't put it back, we got to tell the body to put it back. So with osteoporosis, I like to think of it like a train. So you've got this runaway train, you want to slow the train, then you want to stop the train, then you want to reverse the train.
Wow.
So the first thing that we have to do is slow down that osteoporosis or that bone loss. And then we got to stop it. And then we got to tell the body, put that calcium back into the bone. And then that starts to help with the bone health.
Okay.
So that's sort of how I approach it so that we have a plan. And it takes time though. It takes time.
Yeah. So what amount of time? I know when we're doing things the natural way, it does sometimes take a little bit longer. And at the same time, I personally feel like it's somewhat safer too. So approximately what kind of time do you think something like that would need?
Well, I guess it depends on the other factors going on in a person's life. So
Sure.
if you're under a lot of stress, your body could be breaking down the bone for the calcium and magnesium to help calm you. That's a normal thing. And if you're not eating enough, foods that are rich in nutrients that the bones need, not just calcium, but other things too, then that will play a factor. If you are always getting sick or if you have immune issues, that requires more calcium. And then, of course, we talked about, getting leg cramps. So your smooth muscles need calcium. So your body needs calcium for a lot of things. And if you have a lot going on in your life, you're going to need more calcium. So those are all going to play a part in how quickly we can start to slow down that train and stop it.
Right.
But I would say definitely give yourself at least 6 months to a year to really dig in and try and help those bones get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of protocol that will help replenish and give your bones what it needs.
Yeah, I know. In fact, as we age, we lose muscle mass every year, and even if you're not a couch potato, you're still losing it. And
I know.
it's just
And
that,
you know what else we lose as we age? Our hydrochloric acid.
right?
And that also affects calcium absorption. So that's another double whammy. As we age, we make less hydrochloric acid, which breaks down our food and our calcium. So we want to make sure we have that covered as well.
And I know exercise plays a really big part in that as far as bone density as well. And so I'm doing some interesting exercise. We'll have somebody on that you might appreciate knowing who does, I don't know if you've heard of the Power of 10 exercise, but we'll talk about that another time, but I'm sure that's something some of your patients might really enjoy. But tell me a little bit more then about the aging process. We talked a little bit about bone density and osteoporosis, but the balance too, and preventing falls. And talk a little bit about that balance of food that we need to maintain good strength and work around balance with that too.
Yeah, so I would say first, an imbalanced diet would be something like, a lot of fast food or processed food and not getting in enough greens and vegetables that are going to have those micronutrients that we need.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to lend itself to not having what our bones need. A lot of people still drink milk. In the aging population, they're still drinking milk, but then there's a lot who aren't drinking milk. And so that's, of course, a big source of calcium. So we want to make sure that we take a look at what we're eating, and we're eating those micronutrients, and we're balancing out. I mean, it's okay to have fast food. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
But if we're having it all the time and we're just eating things out of packages, then we know we're not getting all the nutrients we need, and that will affect our body, and it eventually will affect our bones.
Sure.
So getting in those greens, those nuts, the seeds, all those things that are going to have calcium and the other nutrients.
That's great. And as you know, I don't eat dairy. So what do you share with your clients who don't eat dairy?
Mm-hmm. So I usually tell them to make sure you have your green leafies in there. Make sure that you have the nuts that are high in calcium, like walnuts, and make sure that you have seeds that are high in calcium. And then you can do, almond milk or one of those other milks because they actually fortify it with calcium. So if that's something you like to do in smoothies or in your coffee, you might as well because you're going to get a little bit of calcium there. And then for you, you just might need to make up 3/4 of the amount of calcium you need in a day in your supplement. You just might need to be a little higher dose of calcium.
Yeah. And years ago, when I first started working with you, you suggested something that has, I think, calcium and magnesium. You know better. But it was something that I put in a little kind of a powdered vitamin that I put in a drink at night. And it was so great. The cramping in my legs started going away finally. And I obviously started balancing my body out. I could sleep better, and everything that was going on with hormones was balancing out. So yeah, so valuable. And I shudder to think how many people may go to a doctor and just get medication for restless leg syndrome versus taking care of what's really happening in our bodies. So what other things do you see that are so kind of easy to approach, and modern medicine may take people in a completely different direction, and it's really not helping? Are there some common things that you see that you can fix?
Yeah, I mean, so when the body has symptoms, so say like you're someone who never gets anxious and all of a sudden you're anxious all the time. That's a new symptom, right? That usually means there's an imbalance, like you said, and it's better, let's find out what is out of whack and resolve it rather than run off and get some medication just to sort of tamp it down. So most new symptoms are rooted in some sort of imbalance. And so things like anxiety, like out of nowhere, feeling like you're the world's coming to an end.
Right.
That can be minerals. That can be calcium, magnesium. They're very calming. And right now, or during this past year in this pandemic, people were so anxious that were never anxious before.
Right.
Because their body was using up all this calcium calcium and magnesium, and they needed more to calm. And so if you can calm yourself simply by having calcium and magnesium, I mean, how wonderful is that?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking with Heidi Hoffman of Vibrant Living. I'm going to go ahead and scroll her contact information at the bottom of the screen here so that you can contact her on her website if you'd like. I know you have some memberships and things that you're doing too, and lectures, but I wanted to discuss quickly, when Steve and I were talking, we were talking about, oh my gosh, now I'm going to forget what I just said. What was I thinking about? But we talked about hydration, but we also talked about, yes, your brain is on overload right now with COVID. Like obviously is too. And so yes, we've got this fear built up in our body. We have the anxiety. We are not in a normal condition still. So I love hearing that, meeting with you, going through issues related to loss of calcium, but are helpful, but you do testing too, right? To know that something may be imbalanced.
Oh yeah.
So that way you can
my favorite test right now is the hair mineral analysis test. That gives me so much information about what's happening in the body, and I'm able to see if the body is losing calcium. So when I get my osteoporotic clients coming in, we actually have a sense of what's happening in their body, and we can make a roadmap so that we can start to climb out of that osteoporosis and rejuvenate and balance the body. And not just the bones, all the body systems, so that someone can really have vitality. Yeah. That's how I approach it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the membership that you're doing, because I know that's relatively new, and I was just looking at your website this morning and kind of going, oh, it's kind of like interesting, exciting. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, so we have 3 levels, and the membership is essentially support, discounts, perks, all that fun stuff that my clients want and need as they engage with me. So the Premier membership just gives them access to me in between appointments, so that we can get on a quick call, or we can deal with any symptoms that are happening. They get discounts on shipping, they get free shipping and discounts on supplements. So, and then of course they get first crack at any future webinars or anything like that, and a monthly recipe bundle. So, yeah, so far they're really loving it. They're really, really loving the extra care.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's important too. And I think it's great that you're able to shift and think of different ways to meet with your clients. And we're doing the same thing, obviously, where we have a lot of virtual visits, and we communicate pretty routinely on the phone too. But sometimes we just really need to get our hands on or our eyes on to somebody. And but you're still able to do a lot, aren't you, without being able to actually see somebody?
Yeah. That's definitely something that the pandemic has created, some innovation.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Some really helpful innovation.
Absolutely. So give me a little tip for the day, and something that maybe we should try over the weekend, and tell us how to get a hold of you.
Tip for the day, okay. Make sure that one of your meals today is a fun, nutritious meal. That's all you have to think about. Pick whichever one that you enjoy the most, and just go have fun with making it, and know that you are nourishing your body and helping to balance out your nutrients.
Sounds great. Sounds fun. Sounds like a fun way to drink eating.
It is. So many people have gotten cooking fatigue during this COVID. So sick of cooking. I don't blame them. So if you bring some fun and enthusiasm into it, it makes it a lot more interesting.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. And how I have your website scrolling in the bottom, but why don't you share it, announce it, say what it is, and maybe a phone number that you have to get a hold of too, so that way people who are just listening versus seeing the show can get a hold of you.
Thank you. Yes, it's vibrantlivingwc.com, and our phone number, which you can text us or call us, 626-470-7711.
Thank you. Well, I will plan on seeing you soon, and I appreciate all the great information, and hopefully you'll come back on and we can talk some more about another topic that's really important to our health.
I'd love to. How about menopause?
Yeah. That sounds great. All
Let's
righty.
do it. Thank you, Mary.
All right. Thank you. Have a good, great weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. And that was great. I love the information that she has, and I feel so lucky to be able to work with her too, because my feeling is I need to stay healthy for me. I need to stay healthy for my family. I need to stay healthy for my clients. And if I didn't have the support of someone like Heidi, then I'm not sure how great my health would be. So let me go ahead and we'll bring Steve back on too, and just share a little bit about what's happening with the upcoming weekend. And there we go. I think I'm on solo. There we go.
Hello.
How are you? So what did you take away? What was your big takeaway from Heidi's presentation, or not presentation, or interview?
Very informative. I definitely, have thought about, or not thought, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was at home a lot and really worked on my diet, and it made a huge difference. So I'm trying to bring that into the office because I'm in the office more often now. But eating better, eating smaller portions, more greens. I lost a lot of weight just doing that. So yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, it is important. I haven't lost any weight. I'm sitting
I thought it was
around, that's what I'm doing.
I thought it was funny when she said you should drink 80 ounces of water, so that means you're like 160. I was like, I wish I weighed 160.
Well, I think it's been really important though too, because even if I don't like the weight that I'm at, I know I'm still within range and I'm still eating healthy. And
yeah,
I also think it's really important. I like that she does the testing, because with that, you're just kind of throwing things into your body that you may or may not even need. And I think it's
so
a
true.
starting point. So I love that she does that too. And I have done that with her a few times, and just to check over time, are there changes taking place? Are you improving? Are you needing
Right.
to another area? So it's like any test that you would get with blood tests too. So they do the hair test, blood test. So anyway, pretty cool. I like it.
Excellent. Great
All
show.
right. Anything going on for the weekend?
Well, now my gym is opened up, so I'm hopefully going to go there a couple times
Nice.
and trying to start getting back into that routine. How about you?
I don't know if my gym's opening up. They might be. I saw that they wanted to charge me for something, so I thought maybe they're open. Well, check it out. All right. Well, you have a great weekend, and
You have a better one.
thank you, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks. You too. Here we go.